What is going on, you guys? This is All Day Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Division 2 video. And with this video I'm going to be going over some of the best talents you can go for, whether it's for PvE or PvP, and this is obviously going to be talents on your weapons and your gear. And do keep in mind that these are only the talents that I've noticed, that I've seen from other players, my clan members, and talents that I've seen for myself. I'm pretty sure there are a lot more other talents out there that I haven't even seen yet. But, you know, out of the 90 hours I've played, and out of all the other players' gear that I've inspected and even seen on YouTube, these seem to be the best talents to go for. So do make sure, if you find these, keep them. Make sure you hold on to them, because you can end up recalibrating them onto better gear later on. First one is going to be premeditated. And the premeditated talent only comes from the shotguns. So you're not going to be able to have a chance with this type of talent if you don't have a shotgun. And I don't know if it comes to the sidearms either though. Maybe it does, because it is still considered a shotgun, but it is still a sidearm. But anyways, with premeditated, it says weapon damage is increased for every shell loaded to a max of 35%. If all shells are reloaded, then weapon damage is increased by an additional 50%. Buff lasts for 10 seconds, and it requires only 4 or less electronics. So if you're not stacking electronics or anything, this is definitely going to be useful, especially if you're using a shotgun. Definitely the best talent to have on a shotgun, especially if the shotgun is something like a double barrel where it only has two shells that you need to reload in, and then you can shoot it, and it's also one of the strongest shotguns in the game anyways. Or you can use it on something that is a one mag, like just a one magazine type of deal. I'm not sure what shotguns there are that do that, rather than having to reload each shell. But you know, the premeditated is still one of the best talents to have because of that 50% increase in damage. Up next is going to be nearsighted. So with nearsighted, I know it has two negative things about it, but you can always make up with that with weapon mods. The 35% stability it gives you is amazing. And obviously the 20% critical strike range, the 20% optimal range loss does suck, but like I said, once you have the attachment mods, you will have the attachment mods more than likely. Once you hit level 30 and you complete all the side missions, you'll have an attachment mod, a few of them, that will increase your optimal range. You won't have anything that increases the critical strike range, but the thing about critical strike range is it only decreases the distance of where your critical strikes can pretty much hit. So as you can see, my critical strike range went from 10 to 60 meters to 10 to 36 meters. So it's not that bad, because I'm not going to be that far from an enemy anyways when I'm using an assault rifle. But if I already use something like a marksman rifle or just a regular rifle, then that might be an issue, but you can still pull it off with a regular rifle, just a rifle and a AR. Both of those can make real good use of the nearsighted talent. So the next one is going to be more for the skill build type players, or even just like support players. So the first talent is going to be Reformation, the second one is In Rhythm. Reformation, it says headshot kills increases skill repair and healing by 25% for 25 seconds. That is a lot of healing. And there's another talent that's going to increase your healing and repair by a lot more and lasts for 10 seconds. And you combine those two, you can just drop one chem launcher heal, and it'll heal you from no shield to full shield. It'll heal anyone from no shield to full shield pretty much, unless someone's got like 200,000 armor or higher, like 220, 210k armor, then it might take two of them. But regardless, this is going to be a great talent to have for anyone that's deciding to use a skill build. And then In Rhythm is another amazing talent to have for anyone that is deciding to use a skill build. While equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns, can occur once every 60 seconds. It does suck that it is a 60-second cooldown and a 5% chance to happen, but it's really nice that it will reset the cooldowns for any of your abilities that are on cooldown. So one that I'd like to mention is going to be Optimist. Optimist is a great talent, but the requirement for it is pretty bad. So weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo that is missing from your magazine. So by the time you generally will, you're just getting an increase of 3% every time you shoot. And, well, not necessarily every time you shoot, but every time you lose 10% of your ammo. the requirement sucks, honestly, because if you're going all the way back down to 5 firearms or less, you're basically losing more damage. That means you're losing either crit damage, crit chance, weapon damage, LMG damage, or SMG, whatever weapon you're using damage. You're losing possibly damage to elites. Those all go towards this firearms stat. So losing any of those can do more damage than gaining an extra 3 to 30% damage. Not 30 because that means you ran out of ammo. But hopefully they do change it to where the requirement is flipped, so you need 5 or more and then 5 or less. Another great talent to go for, even on this works for SMGs, LMGs, and pretty much anything, but it's gonna be Killer. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants another 50% crit chance for 5 seconds. I like this on my SMG a lot because SMGs already have a built-in crit chance, and there's mods that can increase the crit chance as well. For example, and the crit chance cap is 60%. So if you have your SMG and you're at least 50%, you're going to be at 100% crit chance at, on kill, or yeah, pretty much every kill, because you will be getting that extra 50% crit chance. And there's talents that can benefit you with having dealing crit chance or crit damage to the enemies. So having that increase in crit chance is definitely going to help out, especially if you have a high amount of crit damage and crit chance all together. So the next one is going to be Lucky Shot, and I'm looking at one of my clan members' gear right now. But with Lucky Shot, the way it works is magazine capacity is increased by 20%, which is a good bonus. Missed shots from cover have a 25% chance to return to the magazine. That's amazing. You're gonna definitely want to have this on your LMG, because LMGs have a high amount of ammo already, so adding on to that is going to even be better. And then also it takes a while for it to reload, so being able to just return magazine or return rounds back to the magazine is going to be great. It's going to be helpful. It'll decrease the amount of times you'd have to pretty much reload, unless you're obviously hitting all your shots on the target, then that's different. If you're missing, then I guess, you know, obviously you might need to work on your aiming. But all in all, this is still a really great talent to have and to make sure you try to keep. The next talent is going to be Boomerang, and Boomerang says critical hits have a 50% chance to return the bullet to the magazine. If a bullet is returned to the magazine, the next shot has a 20% increase in damage. That sounds amazing already. And if I'm not exactly sure if you can get Boomerang on an SMG, but if it can come to an SMG, make sure you keep it, because you never know, you might want to put that on a higher SMG or an SMG you would prefer, because like I said before, SMGs have the highest chance to hit crits. So if you were to able get Boomerang, you'd be getting ammo back so often, meaning you'd be able to hit 20% damage so much more often than any other weapon does. Now, it still works for the assault rifles though, if you can stack up more crit chance on it though. The last one is going to be Frenzy, and I'm looking at another clan member's weapon right now, and what he is doing is actually amazing. He ended up getting a really good roll on a nice weapon. You're going to want to get Frenzy because reloading from empty grants 35% more weapon damage and 35% rate of fire increase for 7 seconds. And what's nice about his build or his weapon is it also has Allegro, which is 10% rate of fire on the military L86 LSW, giving a higher rate of fire. And he does have a lot of mags, or a lot of shots in the mag, but either way, I mean, you're still going to be you're going to have a lot more damage and a lot more shots. You'll be able to reload a lot quicker, more often. If you can get Frenzy on an SMG or an assault rifle, I think this would definitely be a lot better, because obviously that'll increase the amount of damage you'll be doing regardless. Plus, if you had the P90 exotic weapon, I forgot what it's called, but the one when it's holstered and you just deal more rate of fire, that'll help out even more. Like, you'll be just burning through enemies really quick. You'll be burning through ammo quick too, but I mean, you'll be burning through enemies really quick, and it'll probably end up being one of the best ways to go about with the dark zone, like occupied dark zone, even conflict or normalized dark zones and whatnot. But that is pretty much it with the weapons. And now I'm going to go over the gear talents, I mean. So some really amazing gear talents there's a lot of really amazing gear talents, and I've actually found one that I'm actually going to show you guys real quick that I think is something that you're definitely going to want to end up getting. If you end up seeing it, you definitely want to keep this. So the first one is going to be called Clutch. Critical hits restore 15% health and repairs 2% armor while you're either using an AR, SMG, or LMG. If you're using an SMG, you're going to be getting these clicks. You're going to be getting these critical hits so often. You'll be able to restore your health and your armor very easily, very quickly. And I think this is definitely the best talent to have, just in general, whether you're doing PvE or PvP. This is definitely going to be something you're going to want to use. Unfortunately, mine is only at 300 because I was helping a friend level up, and I ended up getting this from my one of my caches, my field proficiency cache, that came at 300 because I was in his world tier. Up next is Obliterate. Depleting an enemy's armor grants 25% increase in critical hit damage for 5 seconds. So using this is gonna be crazy because obviously when an enemy's shield breaks, they're gonna die really quick, probably a lot before 5 seconds, maybe even before 2 seconds, because your critical hit damage is going to get a 25% increase in boost. Now if you're using an SMG, that'll help a lot because you're using something that benefits more in crit chance. If you have high crit chance on any other weapons, even better. Something like a marksman, or not a marksman but just a regular rifle, gets increases in crit damage, or using an assault rifle which increases damage to enemies' health. This would still help if you have high crit chance anyways. So Obliterate is definitely something you're going to want to get, and you'll be able to get this very easily because all you have to do is just deplete the enemy's armor, and that's it. A lot of enemies have armor. So there's actually 2 different skills I want to show you guys, and this is going to be for the skill build players. So skill kill, or actually there's 3 of them, not just 2 of them, but 3 of them. So you have skilled, on the ropes, and safeguard. So skilled is it says skill kills have a 25% chance to reset skill cooldowns. That's already really nice. And then on the ropes, weapon damage is increased by 25% while all skills are on cooldown or reach 0 charges. Also really nice. And the last one, safeguard. Killing a target grants a 150% bonus to repairing and healing effects for 20 seconds. So this is the one I was talking about earlier that synergizes well with the weapon talent that increases healing and repairing by 25% for 20 seconds. So I had actually thought safeguard was 10 seconds, but it's 20 seconds. So both of those can synergize very well together because they're both off kills. One's off headshot, one's off a regular kill. So if you get the headshot if you get the headshot kill, you're at 175% bonus to healing and repairing effects. So I mean this would make you into the ultimate healer just in general. Now for on the ropes, with the weapon damage increased by 25% while all skills are on cooldown or reach 0 charges, that just means everything has to be on cooldown. You can't have anything not on cooldown, otherwise you won't be getting the buff. So what I would recommend is use something that has not necessarily a long cooldown, but a decent cooldown, so that way you're able to get that extra damage output just from this. And then with skilled, skill kills have a 25% chance to reset skill cooldown. So with this you can just basically throw out a seeker and it'll, maybe it'll kill an enemy, maybe it won't. Throw out a turret, and if that turret kills the enemies, you have a 25% chance of that seeker coming back. So regardless, this is going to help out a lot, and I think you should definitely go for skilled for sure. So the next one is Berserk. So Berserk says 10% weapon damage or increase in 10% of weapon damage for every 10% of max armor depleted, and it only works for shotguns, SMGs, and assault rifles. And what I would highly recommend using with Berserk is you could technically go with a high amount of armor, because the more armor you lose, you still technically have a lot of armor even if you have the last 10%, or or you can go with a high amount of health. The highest amount of health I've ever been able to reach was about 70,000 health, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't like fully min-maxed in health. If you could get fully min-maxed in health, you could probably reach about 100,000 health, and that means you don't need any shields. And if you have health on kills, and if you have clutch, the talent called clutch, you'll be able to get your health back on crits. You'll be able to pretty much be unstoppable if you have berserk, clutch, health on kill, high amount of health. It's gonna be insane. Obviously the armor is definitely gonna help out with survivability, but berserk is supposed to be just that Rambo type of set. You're supposed to go in and try to take as much damage, but also you'll be able to trade damage is what it is. You're not soaking in damage though, because you can definitely get kills really quick. It's kind of like the Relentless high-end. I think it was called Relentless high-end on Division 1. So we're almost done. The next one is going to be Surgical. Surgical is going to be a great talent to have for those of you that need to build up crit chance if you're trying to build crit chance for other weapons rather than just the SMG. Surgical increases crit chance by 8%, and it's really nice because there's not that many things that can give you that much crit chance other than just regular attributes. Now there's another talent called Critical, which increases crit damage, but it's only increased by 8%, and that's not by much. So if you had to choose between the two, I would 150% go with Surgical, because 8% crit chance increase is a lot better than 8% crit damage. Now if this Critical talent was maybe 20% crit damage increase, then it would be kind of a fair trade-off, because that's a lot that, like, it's not really beneficial. 8% extra damage in crits isn't as beneficial as having that extra 8% crit chance in general. Up next is going to be Surge. So Surge is going to be great for those of you that are using skill builds, because skill builds, so just in case you guys don't know and you haven't seen my skill power video on the explanation on how it works, skill power doesn't reduce your cooldown, it doesn't increase the damage, it doesn't do anything except unlocks mods. Now with Surge, it's going to give you a 10% skill haste, which means you're getting a 10% skill cooldown to all your skills, to all your abilities. Having that is going to be crucial for pretty much anyone who is using a skill build. If you can combine the skill haste with skill cooldowns on your attributes and gear sets or brand sets that give skill cooldown as well, then you're golden. You're going to be getting really quick cooldowns just really often. The last one is going to be Dialed In. Dialed In is definitely, I'd say this is one of the most rare talents aside from Clutch. Clutch is definitely the most rare talent because I've only seen it ever drop one time. And Dialed In, I've only seen it drop twice. And what Dialed In does though is while aiming, weapon stability is increased by 25% of your weapon accuracy. So they did stealth nerf this. It used to be 100% of your weapon accuracy, but that used to make weapons shoot like a laser. Like it was insane. In PvP, you can use an assault rifle from a long range and just snipe someone using a sniper pretty much. It was insane. It was that good, but they obviously had to nerf it because it was just broken. So they nerfed it down to 25%, which is still really useful. It still helps a lot whether you're using a marksman rifle, or not a marksman, but just using a regular rifle, SMG, or an assault rifle, or an LMG, anything, because it's going to increase the amount of stability you have based off your accuracy. All you have to do really is just increase your accuracy. Just stack up as much accuracy as possible, and then you'll get a high amount of stability just based off of that. So the next talent is going to be Patience. So with Patience, after being in cover for 3 seconds, armor repairs by 5% every 1 second. This is hands down one of the best talents to get. I've only seen Patience drop maybe 4 times or so, but I wouldn't say it's a very, very rare talent to find, but it's definitely not a common talent to see. And Patience is just an amazing talent to have. It does require 7 blues though, so you got to make sure you have that. If you don't, then it's gonna, obviously you're not gonna be able to make use of it. And yeah, you can use this honestly with a tank build, you can use this with a non-tanky build, you can use it whatever, just as long as you have the amount that's required for it. Obviously, I don't have the amount required for it, so I can't make use of it. But what's also really nice about this is you don't even need to drop a heal anymore that often. You just go back into cover and hope the enemies don't come to you. But obviously, it's still going to be good to drop a heal, but you won't really have to that often, depending on how close the enemies are, is what I would normally do. The next one is calculated. So I don't think calculated is that common either. I think this is the first time I've seen common, or I've seen calculated twice. So calculated is definitely not a common talent for myself. Maybe others have seen calculated many times, but what it does is kills from cover reduce skill cooldowns by 20%. This is going to be great for anyone using a skill build, and this pretty much means you don't even need to run cooldown reductions anymore or skill haste because of this talent. But it's not like you don't have to run high skill cooldowns, but you know, if you have a high amount of skill power to unlock the skill mods and you still run calculated, then that'll be really good. And the thing is, calculated works not only just with weapon kills, but with skill kills as well. So you can definitely rely on either or, just as long as you're in cover though. So the next one is going to be called Terminate. Terminate is going to be used for pretty much anyone using a skill build. And it says depleting an enemy's armor grants 35% skill damage for 15 seconds, and it requires 5 or more electronics. So if you are, like I said, heavy on skill builds, you're wanting to do more damage with skills like your seekers or turrets, this is going to be what you're going to want to use. You can deplete one enemy's armor, and then your turrets, seekers, whatever is going to do damage towards others. Now this is not going to apply to anything that is more of support, such as the booster from the hive is not going to give you more booster, or the defender drone isn't going to allow you to deflect more bullets, or the heals, the chem launcher heal isn't going to heal you anymore because it's not giving you extra. You're not doing damage with those. Those are just skill powered boosts. The last one is going to be Frenzy, and I'm looking at another clan member's weapon right now, and what he is doing is actually amazing. He ended up getting a really good roll on a nice weapon. You're going to want to get Frenzy because reloading from empty grants 35% more weapon damage and 35% rate of fire increase for 7 seconds. And what's nice about his build or his weapon is it also has Allegro, which is 10% rate of fire on the military L86 LSW, giving a higher rate of fire. And he does have a lot of mags, or a lot of shots in the mag, but either way, I mean, you're still going to be you're going to have a lot more damage and a lot more shots. You'll be able to reload a lot quicker, more often. If you can get Frenzy on an SMG or an assault rifle, I think this would definitely be a lot better, because obviously that'll increase the amount of damage you'll be doing regardless. Plus, if you had the P90 exotic weapon, I forgot what it's called, but the one when it's holstered and you just deal more rate of fire, that'll help out even more. Like, you'll be just burning through enemies really quick. You'll be burning through ammo quick too, but I mean, you'll be burning through enemies really quick, and it'll probably end up being one of the best ways to go about with the dark zone, like occupied dark zone, even conflict or normalized dark zones and whatnot. But that is pretty much it with the weapons. And now I'm going to go over the gear talents, I mean. But anyways, that's pretty much it with this video. I know there's a lot more talents out there that I may have already missed, but these talents that I've gone over are definitely the talents you most likely want to make sure you keep if you end up finding them. Some of them are very hard to find. Some of you guys might get really lucky and might find 10 talents or 10 gear pieces that have the clutch talent or dialed in or whatever, you know. Some of you might get really lucky in finding them, but others not so much, like myself, which is why if you do find these, make sure you keep them, put them in your store so you don't accidentally delete them or dismantle them or anything, because you never know, in the end you might use that talent and then just recalibrate it on your gear or your weapons, because these are definitely going to help out a lot in your gameplay future. But anyways, if this video helped you out, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions either, let me know down in the comment section as well. If you have any suggestions on any builds or any videos you'd like to see, let me know down as well, and I will try my best to do these videos. And yeah, also be sure to share this video if you want to let others know what the best talents are, or I guess you can verbally say what the best talents are, and then you can just be like, oh yeah, All Day Day 1 said so and so and so, you should go watch this video. Anyways, that's pretty much it. This is All Day Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.